Are you a woman standing at a crossroads, eager for change? It's time to connect with your authentic and empowered self at Boss Leap. Join Dr. Sylvia Morris and Dr. Angela Walker in this empowering community where real-life stories of courageous and talented women inspire and motivate. Engage in honest conversations that foster well-being, drawing from our own journeys. Let us guide you toward profound growth and transformation in both your personal and professional life. Here are your hosts, Dr. Sylvia Morris and Dr. Angela Walker.
Welcome back to Boss Leap. I am Dr. Angela Walker, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Dr. Sylvia Morris. We are well into our second season, but we are actually having our first interview. We are so excited, the first interview of our second season. And today we are talking with a true global innovator who spent 25 years building billion-dollar brands across 3 continents. From Singapore to England to Paris, she's led R&D and innovation in beauty, personal care, biotech, and consumer electronics. She is a proud FAMU graduate. She's passionate about using STEM to drive transformative change while championing diversity and developing the next generation of innovators. She's also embraced life as an expat and a global citizen, and she's going to tell us why Paris has her heart. Sylvia, before we dive in, let's just do a quick check-in. How are you doing today?
I am super excited. I'm excited about our conversation with Carlista Conde, but I'm equally as excited for our second season. If you haven't listened to any of our previous podcasts, we have 63 episodes that you can check out at bossleappodcast.com. And I'm just very excited about this year and this season of my life and all of the opportunities that are upcoming. So I want to encourage everybody to stay tuned and please follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn. How are you?
I am good. This has quite honestly been a tough week for me. I lost a cousin this week, hard fought battle to cancer. But I was very reflective, and part of, what we talked about today, our love of travel, our love of embracing different communities. This cousin, my cousin Norm,
My deepest condolences.
Thank you. I haven't talked about it, but he had just a passion for life, passion for people. He was an anesthesiologist, and he's my big cousin.
Yes.
And, we're only children. And so, he actually was more like a big brother to me in my adult life. Just a wealth of knowledge, by far the absolute best anesthesiologist I've ever worked with in my life. But also one of my best friends. I confided in him, quite a bit, and he gave really great advice. But in this episode, what I'm reflective about is his love for travel. So in the midst of all of his, and he traveled around the world, and he would do solo travel and, absolutely loved it. Traveled with his family, took his family, places as well, but did solo travel and did it well. And most recently, I think one of his last trips when he was on and off chemotherapy was to Medellin.
Colombia. I hear it's amazing in Colombia.
Me, I'm like, oh, be careful. But he's like, girl, you go, you got this. I'll tell you where to go, where to be safe.
Yes.
And he's always, that voice of reason. Don't be afraid, that sort of thing. But he would talk about Anguilla, and I always want to say Anguilla, but Anguilla. All the sorts of travel. So put all these dreams in my head, and we're living in a part of our lives where we just can't say
There's
I'm going to
no
do tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So already thinking about some of these destinations that I would travel to in his honor. But I know you probably weren't expecting this long of a how am I, but I love talking about travel, loved talking about my cousin and just being, I think, reflective and appreciating life. I think that's where I am right now, is just appreciating life's little pleasures every day and being grateful for family and friends. And
Absolutely, and we're gonna dedicate this episode to cousin Norm. And you're right, I was I was not expecting that. So so
I
we
didn't wasn't expected to share it, but, so you
that's
asked,
what we
and
do on
that's what
Boss
came out.
Sleep.
Yes,
Yes,
the real
no,
is
we
real, so on a happy note, we are so excited to bring you Carlista Conde. She was an amazing guest with a wealth of information, beautiful spirit, and, lots of beautiful things to share about what she's currently doing and, what she's actually doing in the future as well. So, without further ado, we'd love to bring you Carlista Conde. All
Carlissa
right.
Conde, welcome to Boss Sleep.
Thank you so much, Sylvia, and thank you, Angela, for having me.
We are
Absolutely.
so excited that you are here today. We would wish we were there with you in Paris. I think I can
Mhm.
divulge that you live in Paris, and we want to hear everything about your life as an expat and your journey. So we're just going to jump right into the questions.
Fantastic. And thank you. You both are such an inspiration to me. I mean, you really
Oh, wow.
demonstrate how leading with your heart and mind and uplifting others around you is important, and you're doing it very well.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Appreciate that so much. Well, your story is inspiring as well. And we just really want to get started at the beginning.
Mm.
As a lot of times we like to know where did you grow up and what first sparked your interest in science? As we know, we're going to hear more about your adventures in science.
Well, so that's a good question. I'm a Southern girl. I grew up in Northwest Florida on the Gulf Coast.
Mm,
What was very exciting about my small town was it had a naval air station based there. So I had a lot of international influence, and I think that helped shape me because I come from humble beginnings, but I was this little girl with these big dreams. These big dreams of being an air
mhm.
ambassador. Had no idea how I would accomplish it, but I had it. And I love math and chemistry. I did not like blood and needles like my sister. Uh, did not go the doctor route. She's a doctor, but not me. And I also had this desire to always understand the why and the how behind
Mhm.
things work. And I remember taking this brain class and understanding how the brain works and what we know and don't work. So I think all of this helped fuel my love of STEM, science, technology, and engineering. But I also had a practical element. Coming from humble beginnings, I remember thinking in high school, okay, what degree makes the most money with a bachelor's?
Mm,
Um,
hey, that's
Yes,
important.
and not a lot back so tell me what you found because it's sometimes hard to, find that if you don't see it, if you haven't
exactly.
had it modeled.
Exactly. So I remember with my guidance counselors looking through the list and I saw chemical engineering. And I was like,
Mhm.
voila, as we say here in Paris, combined chemistry. I can do this.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's one of the reasons why.
And I'm sorry, are you from Pensacola? Because you said,
Mm,
naval flyers, Northwest
I
Florida.
am. I'm from
Okay.
Pensacola, Florida,
Pensacola.
with the
Oh,
Blue Angels,
Yes.
yes.
Naval Air Station Base. I grew up 10 minutes from the ocean. Absolutely loved it.
Oh,
Wow,
you're speaking
wow.
my language. Wow.
Now, you attended Florida A&M University, which we know is a historical, Black college. I think of them as the Marching 100. And friend of the show, Denise, also your classmate, also went to FAMU. Can you talk about your FAM experience and how that has shaped you as a leader?
The FAMU
Oh,
University.
excuse me. I'm sorry. No disrespect. In
No,
trouble.
thank you, but I'm a proud FAMUan, and I am proud of the STEM legacy of my university. And I'm so blessed because I went to FAMU on a full scholarship, a full NASA scholarship.
Wow.
Because of that, honestly, the education there, the grounding that I got there helped send me around the world, 3 continents. Yeah, it changed the trajectory of my life. And, FAMU is, they are known for sciences, agricultural sciences, engineering sciences. And outside of the education, what I love to talk about is what else I got at this HBCU, Historically Black College and University. And what I got in one word is um, this boldness. Yeah. And what I mean by this boldness, lady, is
Mhm.
there I learned that I'm good enough. I belong. I come from a great lineage of African excellence, tracing all the way back to the beginnings of modern humans in ancient Egypt. And I must admit, before going to FAMU, I didn't really know that fully.
Mm.
Education I had before going there and that connection. And so I'm just incredibly proud for not just the education at FAMU, but what it did for self confidence. And if I may, ladies, can I add something? I tell you, in my career,
Please.
being, um, I've seen a difference in recruits that start their corporate careers, some difference in their confidence, those that come from, say, HBCUs versus not. And it's just a pattern I've seen, not all the time, but the element of this comfort, this boldness, this when they show up in corporate America, they tend to go towards their colleagues that look like them and don't go away. They embrace the boldness of who they are. And so it's just something I wanted to highlight as well. And it speaks to a bit of my experience. The other thing is in these expat assignments, there was an over index of folks coming from HBCUs. So it's like the creme de la creme of America.
So there are more HBCU
HBCU.
grads who are expats as far as with their corporate assignments. There are more HBCU graduates.
HBCU graduates, and I
Mm.
reflected on this, and I'm like, wow, HBCUs are great institutions. They create great
Absolutely.
professionals that have ability to stand on the world stage. So, yeah,
Wow. Very interesting. I good insight there. Would never have thought that. This is probably not a question we can answer in this episode, but I'm curious how we can, other than have all of our children go to an HBCU, how we can instill that feeling of greatness and the education piece, I guess, particularly if you don't get it at home and not because of maybe your parents' lack of desire to teach, but just from their sheer ignorance and knowing a lot of the greatness in our history.
and that really is the question, Angela, because I only highlight to say not everyone has to go to a HBCU.
Hmm.
But I do believe everyone should benefit from that knowledge, that confidence, that boldness that comes from really knowing your history and your lineage. And it's that lineage is beyond maybe some of the trials we often hear in America and are taught in the textbooks.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's crucial now,
Yeah.
particularly
Hmm.
now, for us to find ways to
Yeah.
elevate the voices of those in our history, our ancestors, and the just the sheer excellence that's been around in in our culture, and not let that go. And yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, and I hope that we can share that in all avenues of education.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So curious, you are such an innovator, and I think we'll get into more of that. Can you give us one innovation lesson that has held true for you? We know you're in Paris now. You've traveled to London and Singapore. Maybe one lesson that's held true throughout your travels.
Oh, that's a good question, Angela. One thing's for sure is following your passions. And I'm very passionate about beauty and fashion, and
Mm.
honestly, just about solving problems. And one of the things as I solve problems, I work in consumer goods industry, various sectors, as you just mentioned, is there's
Yes.
elements that just stay the same. One element is around being focused on the consumer. Who are you designing this for? What is their unmet need? What is their tension? What do they require? And if you really define that, it just is your guiding light for what you create. And then the other thing, the second piece that is true across cultures is anchoring in the technical requirement, the science, the invention that's required, yeah, to meet that consumer requirement. And, you know, as an engineer, as one that loves science and technology, I absolutely love this. I've been doing it over 25 years. But this process of connecting what a consumer wants with a solution is just fascinating. And then the third part, and I think this is where my love of beauty and fashion comes in, is it needs to be holistic. If it doesn't look good, feel good, sound good, smell good, it sort of hinders its appeal. And so this is what I'm known for a bit, which is this element of holistic innovation that I love. And then the fourth piece for me is business. You got to have a bit of business acumen. Somehow we need to
Meaning it's got to make money. It's got to sell.
make money. Targeted to the right people in the right way, at the right
Yes.
time. Because the worst thing is to create things that flop or go nowhere. Now you learn from them, and in some instances, maybe that's the strategy. It was intended to be tactical, intended to be short-lived, but you always have to have a view, a business mindset, and honestly, that separates some of the great innovators from the rest.
So I probably
Carlista,
should peel back a layer
yeah,
and peel back a layer and tell us actually what you're doing now. And I kind of jumped into that because I'm so interested in everything you're doing, but maybe for the listeners to know what your current
and I'm going
job
to add
title.
on one thing, because we also want to know, and our audience wants to know, how did you get your first expat assignment?
Woo, that's a good one. I love to talk. Okay. So, all right. So, two questions, ladies. Okay. So, what do I do now? I work at L'Oreal. I'm
That's the beauty company, people.
Yeah.
The internationally known beauty company.
Love it.
the number one beauty company in the
Oh,
world.
excuse me.
Okay.
And we sell hair care, we sell skincare, we sell fragrances across all price tiers. I lead the global hair care product development division. So I'm based here in Paris, but I have teams around the world. And I lead the development for brands like Carlista, Garnier,
Wow.
L'Oreal Paris, and different ones. Yeah. CeraVe hair care was just launched in the US. So voila, it's about 20 brands. And so now the question about how did I get my first expat assignment is a very good question. I love talking about this because, there's something about intention. There's something
Mm.
going towards your passions. So I mentioned as a little girl, I used to dream of being an international ambassador. I didn't take that form, but I did do it in my own way. I remember when I first started with my first job at Procter& and Gamble, I would write on my performance review from day one, I want an international assignment.
Ah,
And I would do that every year,
Love that.
every year.
okay.
Now,
So, Carlissa, the first time you wrote that, this is your first review, you're a year in. What did your leadership team, your boss, say to you?
with a little bit of a smile and a smirk, that's nice. Um, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's a bit around expat assignments. There are not many.
That's
They're
a plum assignment.
they're
Yeah.
selective.
Mhm.
They're for leaders with proven track records.
Mhm.
And I had none of that. Yeah. And so if I
Yet,
yeah,
yet.
yet, and it's a very good point because as I fast forward 15 years, it took me 15 years to actually live and get my first expat assignment. Before that,
Okay.
I put in the work, you know? It's one of
Mhm.
the things I tell folks, you put in the work, you build your track record, you take global roles that have you travel and do global assignments and deliver global products, even though you may not have an expat assignment. You nurture your relationships.
So
And
when they ask you to go to, I don't know, Tibet, or they tell you you're going to Djibouti, I don't know, going somewhere, you say yes because that helps to prime the pump for an expat assignment.
Absolutely, Sylvia. And you
Yeah.
you demonstrate your willingness and you demonstrate
Mhm.
your effectiveness roles. And then on top of that, because I am still a minority in many of the rooms I'm in, being a Black or female, an engineer, the other piece is the type of relationships you have, the type of mentors you have, the type of sponsors and advocate. Because the
Mhm.
leader of the division that sent me on my first expat assignment had been a mentor of mine for
Mm.
20 or 15 years. And this mentor happened to be one of the first Black males at that level.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what and was that a chosen mentor or were you chosen? How did you go about finding that mentor?
Mutual. Because in big companies like Procter and Gamble, there's a
Mhm.
element of you have what do we call them? Groups, affinity groups
Mhm.
Mhm.
that welcome in new recruits, whether you're Hispanic or Native American or Black, to help nurture you and set you up for success in your career. And so, of
Mm.
course, I was part of that. This is what you do, and then over time, your relationships develop, and you uh, connections with some mentors more so than others. And so, yeah, it's a bit of mutual.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you for sharing that
Yeah.
with us. I think that our listeners will get a lot of value from kind of understanding that you need to put in the work. And
Yeah.
15 years seems like a long time, but then once you've kind of broken through, then the
Yeah.
whole world opens up.
Absolutely. And it was 15 years to live, but I had before that global teams. I was traveling to my
Mhm.
global organizations. I just didn't live there. You see what I mean?
Got it.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So, can you share a moment when kind of a cultural insight from one of the countries that you were leading in led to a breakthrough for a product that you were developing?
Yeah. So I have two or three. So I'll start with one and sharing as much details as I can versus not. I'll start with one when I was working and responsible for Latin America healthcare. And I was
Mm.
doing some research in Brazil in the favela.
Oh, follow Portuguese.
We I have a small team in Rio today, so I love Rio.
Oh, nice.
It
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
maybe 10 years ago. And I was with a team, and the only one, a Black person on his team. But while doing the research, we came in with this idea that these ladies don't have a lot of money. We just have to innovate cheap products for them, and they're not spending maybe as much on their beauty routine.
Mm.
And what we learned is absolutely the opposite.
I was gonna say,
The absolute opposite. Because they don't have the money for the cars, all the fancy electronics, they do spend the money on how they look in their beauty routine. And it's not the fundamental paradigm shift is not about innovating cheap products for them. Is innovative products with absolutely the things that they value and eliminating the things they do not value, particularly for the hair types, curly hair types, or what have you. So we had to go back and fundamentally shift our product development strategy to make sure it was less about just reducing and cheap, but ensuring what's the must have is there and what's most valuable is part of the economical equation versus the things that they can do without that are second tier. And I think it was very enlightening for many, yeah, and it was one of the mantras that, we used as we went back. And just being in the favelas was just, fascinating, and to see all the routines and
Beautiful.
do their hair
yeah.
in their homes is just amazing. So that was one example, and I'll give you another one from my time leading China hair care development. And so there's a brand I was leading in China, it's about, 500 million at the time, well known for its equity and delivering smooth natural products, smooth hair, natural products. And what had happened is this brand had become a bit outdated, a bit not connecting to the current sort of trends or semiotic codes. And we did some research. You go back to the consumer. That's where
Mhm.
you go back to the products you use. You look at the external environment. And what we realized is if we're able to tap into a culturally relevant, aspirational standard of excellence to reframe smooth and natural benefits, it could win with the consumers. And we found this concept in Chinese is called Lingdong. And this concept of Lingdong was more dynamic, more fluidic, smooth, more culturally relevant. And just anchoring in this ambition and this reframe for this brand, for this product, led to a refreshed product and technology pipeline. It led to refreshed positioning for our products. And actually, the brand started growing again. And so, but I'm just sharing that it is anchored in going back to understanding your consumer, going back to understanding the cultural context, and then translating that into technical product strategies, product positioning as well. And that was a bit eye opening as well for that brand in China. I have many more, but I'll stop there. But I hope you sense I absolutely love this connection of
Yes.
technology, holistic innovation, business sense, and anchored in delighting consumers and serving all consumers, not just those who buy Keristas, which I love working on
Oh,
that.
wow.
Uh,
That
Yeah.
I use
That
the
is
oil.
yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yes.
Yes.
and if you haven't bought our new Keristas Gloss Absolute, the new oil product, please do. It's doing excellent. We love it.
Jessica Osborne has turned me
Yes.
onto that, and every all the words that you said, refreshing. This is just refreshing to hear that there are people behind the scenes that actually have the cultural curiosity. Obviously, the bottom line is making money, but I mean, we all know that there are many brands that are making money without really caring about the actual finessing the product for the actual people that are using it, but being curious enough about the culture. I'm fascinated by hearing this, and so it makes me knowing that there's someone like you behind the scenes definitely much more confident in using a product by your company, L'Oreal, because I know that there's actually some intention behind making the money. You actually want to develop something that is for me and what matters to me. So, yeah, kudos. This is fascinating.
Oh, thank you so much. And, one of the things that I would tell anyone interested in such a career or a path
Mhm,
is protect your voice, bring your unique voice, your unique experience. Because
mhm.
each of us have lived experience where we're even more attuned to the importance of deeper understanding of motivations of different consumers. Some of us have had to do that for survival or to be heard or what have you, or just to be prepared when you're in a room. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, superpower of cultural understanding, that superpower of looking for the true needs and finding solutions for those, bring it to life. Bring it to life in your corporate careers.
Love that.
So, Carlissa, what would you say is your superpower?
My superpower. Oh, that is such a
Mhm.
fascinating question. Well, you know, what I love and I've been told I do very well is I see patterns. Seems simple, but seeing patterns quickly, seizing them enables you to be strategic. It enables you to influence. It enables you to connect the dots when maybe others cannot. So there's a bit of seeing patterns. Another superpower for me is, you've heard a little bit of it, but it's holistic. It's holistic innovation. It's this space of beauty, of science, of the love of culture, um, and wrapping that all together in something that can delight, but also make business sense. So I absolutely love this. And what's another superpower? It's my faith, actually. Is being anchored and guided and driven by my spiritual beliefs, which direct how I interact with others and lead.
Mm, beautiful.
Thank you
So you
for sharing.
Yeah. And so you've worked, you just mentioned, across beauty, biotech, and even consumer electronics, I understand. What surprised you most about moving between these worlds, or I guess maybe incorporating them in some way?
Hmm. You know, Angela, the one thing that surprised me is what's the same across them.
Mm.
And what I mean by what's the same is this element of transversal needs and skills. And what I needs, every industry, you still focused on who are you trying to delight or satisfy, and going deep with that person, consumer, regulatory body, what have you. The other thing is this element of delivering performance, deliver solutions that perform, and the evidence to back it up. And it's very important given my STEM background and the need to be the person at the table with the technical support, the technical strategy. Uh,
We can't just feel that something's going to work, or, my gut, or I have a vibe that it's going to work. You
exa-
want the data.
exactly. Oh, verify.
Verify.
Trust
Love that.
and verify. Absolutely.
Is- and because there are others that do a bit of the feel better than me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one thing I will tell you is what varies a bit across these industries is how big a voice are the different cross-functional partners. Yeah. So
So
in,
what do you mean
it,
about cross-functional partners?
what I mean by cross-functional partners at the table in beauty, your marketing team has a huge voice. They play a big
Mhm.
Yes.
positioning and what have you. The other
Okay.
functions are there: R&D, sales, supply chain, finance as well. What I in, say, consumer electronics, particularly in regulatory spaces, you have a huge voice of your safety and regulatory teams. Of course, that voice is there in every industry, but it's
Mhm.
the different tone is at a different level. Mhm. In the consumer electronics. You know, in the biotech field, what I found is because oftentimes you'll deal a bit more with scientific institutions, you do a bit more with mergers and acquisitions or partnering, or investing in different companies. And so I sensed a bit more of that voice. And this is just my experience across these industries. So what changes a bit is the strength, the weight of the voices across some of the functions at the table. But what stays the same is you still need to have great leadership skills. You still need to know how to drive alignment. You still need relationships to get anything done, and strong relationships to get things done. So those are the things that stay the same. But as an innovator who loves innovation, oh my goodness, it just helps you innovate even better. The fact that you've seen different sectors, the fact that you've worked on way, I call it upstream, breakthrough, new benefit spaces, new categories, or working with new raw materials, or you're working downstream. You're working on a product that's been there a long time, but you need a new positioning, or you need to innovate it a little bit, but not, you know, annoy or run away your loyal users. And so this just helps you do all of that when you have a broad experience. But I must
Well,
say it's for everybody, because some people prefer and have personalities where they just like to anchor and they go deep, can go deep in one category, one space for 20, 30 years. And ladies, that's okay too. We need those people too. That just wasn't my calling. So,
I'm gonna say if I have a product idea or need to make a change, you are the first person that I'm going to come to. You just sound like the person that I would want on my team, developing or redirecting how my product is moving in the market. So I love to
More.
hear people that love what they're doing, and then you're very much explaining why that's a passion for you.
Oh, thank you. And I would love to help you anytime.
Well, I don't have anything yet, but you may get me
Yes.
thinking.
Nope.
I am a
We have
dreamer,
Boss
so
Elite Podcast. So any
absolutely.
notes you have, we will accept. So, Carlissa, as
Yeah.
you mentor the next generation of innovators, what would you have liked to have heard 25 years ago as far as just a piece of advice?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I was thinking about this 25 years ago. Oh my goodness. And I can't even believe I'm saying 25 years. Life happens, ladies.
It
Mm,
does.
So one thing is nothing beats putting in the work. You must know that. And one of the things I tell many mentors is what do you do when no one's looking? When no
mm,
telling you to stay up the extra hours, when no one's telling you to take on extra work, when no one's telling you to work that Saturday or that Sunday to get it done. You know,
Mhm.
it's about what do you do when no one's looking. And that's what starts to separate folks. Yeah. The other thing is, particularly as a Black female American, with that unique profile in many rooms. One of the things I've found I've had to do is work a bit extra harder to build familiarity.
so work twice as hard. I'm not going to say to
The
get half as far, but definitely work twice as hard.
Yes, and when you're in rooms where folks may not have interacted with your way of thinking or you
Yes.
or your background,
Mhm.
the onus is on me, on us to make the effort to, as fast as possible, share your story, you know, invite them into your world, build some connections because it's human nature. Once there's a bit of familiarity, you could be more effective, you have more fun, you get things done.
But
Um,
Carlissa, how do you do that organically? Because sometimes if it feels forced, then it's not sort of a true kind of connection or relationship. And it also needs time to develop. So, can you talk about that a little bit?
I'll tell one story from early in my career. I said I came from Florida. I came from deep training around, keep your space from folks that, don't look like you, you know,
Mm.
keep work at work, don't bring it home.
It was
Yes.
a safety
Yes.
thing and a protection
Absolutely.
thing. So I get it.
Yeah.
Safety, protection, you never know what people are like
Mhm.
dark or in the midnight hour. Yeah. So I had all
Yeah.
these things. And I think for the first 6 years of my career, I still held on to those. But what that does is it creates a wall. It creates
Yes.
true connection with leaders and your colleagues that are responsible for vouching for you. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And once I realized I was hindering my own growth, I look for ways to organically invite leaders in, and I took small steps. I had one senior VP. He's retired, and he took a liking to me. I don't know why. I did some organizational development thing, and he would just talk to me and say, "Come have lunch," and all of this. And then one day I said, "Why don't you come over to my apartment for dinner?" Yeah. Um, just so we can connect. In my heart, I was a little bit like, what am I doing? Yes. Mama told me not to do this,
Mhm. Mhm.
but I tell you, and I have a small town house. I don't even have a full dining set. He's a senior VP. He will say no, he will not come. You know what?
Mhm.
It was one of the best dinners we had, and he talked about how he's doing the same with his son, how the food was great, how we connected. He helped me, I helped him, but I realized at that moment, he was just another human being.
Another human being.
Absolutely.
Another human being.
Everything the same on the inside, yes.
Everything the same on the inside. He puts his pants on one leg at a
One leg
time,
at a
like
time.
everybody.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's a small, maybe insignificant example in some ways, but I only share that to say sometimes we have to find the natural moments. Sometimes we have to grab them and just welcome in others. Yeah. Be smart, be safe in all of that. But many times, for via no fault of their own, folks haven't had the opportunity to interact with someone like myself.
Mhm.
And so this helps that along.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That is sage advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the key is that you were in the room to even be able to invite. And so I think that's
Yeah.
how we need to continue to encourage
Yeah.
industries to have the culture in the spaces so that we can get to know each other and then feel more comfortable
We,
with each other. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
And we is yes in French. And so
Oui, oui. Oui, oui. So, speaking of French and Paris, how has being an expat made you maybe a better leader, you think?
in many, many ways, I tell you, you really develop your multicultural fluency is what I how I would say it. It's a bit around learning the nuances of leading in different cultures, learning the concepts I have, and I'll give specifics and example, but learning the concepts I have as a American leader that work and don't work in
Mm.
the other
And
countries.
please come back to that because that would
We
be
Yes,
interesting.
please. Put
Yes,
a pin
yes.
in it.
And but the one thing I will start with is it stretches you to be very flexible in your leadership style and very in tuned to when you need to mm, change it, modulate it, depending on the environment. And so, what do I mean by this? One of the things I learned in England, we speak the same language, but we don't.
No,
Uh-huh.
very different. Australia, New Zealand, that's very different. And the devil's in the details.
In the details. And what I mean by that, I call it British nice, but maybe not always nice. Um,
Tell us
It's
more.
like Southern
So when we
nice.
know, yeah, so we know when we're being insulted. Tell us more.
one example of I left a meeting. I thought the meeting went well. We had a good discussion. We shared our point of views. Voila, there was a little bit of different points of views, but we left smile, no fights or anything. It's a work meeting. Come to find out the person left the meeting pissed, absolutely upset. And I had no idea. It was the first time in my career where I didn't even see the signals.
Mm,
Again, it goes to show in some environments, we speak the same language, but we don't. And it set me off on a learning journey to better
mm,
understand the culture of the words that are said may not mean the actual meaning. Uh,
yeah,
Mhm.
the same thing for others.
The subtext.
the subtext,
Mhm.
lovely, and that's nice, may not mean it's lovely. Uh,
Like, bless your heart.
that's, that's like my grandmother who would say, bless her heart, she tried. Okay.
Yes.
The other sort of insight I had, and that made me a better leader, is in Singapore, in Asia. And I call it embracing the silence.
Mm,
Okay.
I
So
like that.
as an American, growing up in America, soon as the question is asked, you speak up.
We feel it.
You feel
Mhm.
it's awkward if there's a
Yes,
gap.
we feel the space.
We feel the space and you're rewarded for that. You're trained in this. That's not the case in Asia. So there's an element of uh, equity, not wanting to speak up, um, hierarchy. And so But this was a multinational company, and so I needed to change things just a little bit. So I over time, created some practices where I would just say, "Okay, guys, this is where we're gonna embrace the silence, give everybody a chance to speak." And I demonstrated a bit of, comfort and fun, and over time, people started to speak up, yeah? But it was a bit shocking to me at first, the strength of the silence, and I had to really work to figure out how to get the feedback, and how to get the engagement from the team. So voila, so British Nice, embrace the silence in Asia. I could go
Nice.
off this.
Very
Can we
nice.
talk about Paris? I am enamored with Paris. I have
Yeah,
been fortunate enough to
Same.
have been a few times. It
yeah,
is beautiful. I always have a wonderful time. The food, the
uh,
clothing, everything.
Yeah.
How has Paris sort of influenced the way that you think about beauty, and has it changed your self-care regime?
uh, so what I say is j'adore Paris, okay? J'adore.
Body.
We love.
Joy, love.
What do I love about Paris is, living and breathing beauty in everything,
Mm,
Mm.
the way I would describe it. The buildings, the
yes.
food. I was so shocked. It was a Saturday morning and I was just going to the neighborhood market and folks were dressed.
Mhm.
I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my goodness."
Coat, bag, a little
I'm like,
scarf, maybe a hat,
all ages,
lipstick.
all
Mhm.
ages.
No house shoes.
No house shoes, no
No yoga pants.
waves, no baggy pants, nothing off. I mean, they're not dressed like they're going to the opera or anything, but they're dressed.
Sure.
Yes.
Thinking, "Oh goodness, I got to readjust here."
Mhm.
But I loved it. And then the other thing that I appreciate about this living and breathing beauty and everything is the amount of museums here,
Mhm.
the
Yes.
amount of expositions, the amount of different types of music acts that come through. And this obsession with detail, yeah? This obsession with details of, everything. And so this has elevated my way of thinking about innovating in the beauty space. It's elevated my style a bit. Well, I've picked up on some new practices
Nice.
and also just from a health standpoint. Yeah, I've strengthened my exercise routine. I've strengthened the way I eat and what I decide to put in my body, and also self care elements around taking time off, vacation, and all of that. So,
Yeah.
voila,
Vacation.
good experience.
Love all of that. My experience, in Paris, over a year ago was exactly what you said, just the absolute beauty of it all, the architecture, the appreciation for the arts. One thing that stuck out in my mind is just the appreciation for good company and conversation. And I found it so interesting. My husband and I are at, restaurants and, you know, in America, you sit down, you expect the waiter to come right over, get your order, you get your food out right away, you eat, and then I want my bill.
Yeah,
And what I found, I mean, people were talking, lingering, and my husband was so frustrated because he's like, "Where's the waiter? Where's the waiter?" And I'm like, "I think they may just be waiting on you." And he said, "Well, where's the bill?" I think if you look around, people are actually having conversations still.
yeah,
They're still appreciating each other, and I loved, loved, loved everything about that. Just the intention of having a meal with somebody, and it be about the company that you're with, not just. I mean, the food was excellent, but not just that, and not just the service, and not just how fast they were. It was just the appreciation of everything, and I found that to be kind of the overall feel that I took away from there is just appreciation of life. And so I don't know if
it,
that's sounds like kind of what you were speaking to.
it is an art form. It is like
Mhm.
the cafe culture. You go
Yes.
sit and have a drink and relax. It's very different. You can see the Americans or those who are not here. They're
Mhm.
anxious. They're waving down the waiter,
Yes.
and
Yes.
part of me is just wanna say, "C'est la vie." And
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
it's okay. The other thing
Yes.
learned here is, life is linked to this. Life is more than just work. You know,
Mm.
my colleagues have full lives with their hobbies or with their missions,
Mm.
and honestly, that's been one of the beauties for me as well as I've tapped into more of how to give back. How to make a difference as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very
Wow.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, Carlista Conde, we look forward to having a Boss Leap live from Paris. We're just going to put that in the universe and set the
Absolutely.
intention for that. We appreciate you sharing your journey here as an expat, as an innovator, and just giving our audience lots of real actionable tools to use for their careers and their lives. So, Carlissa Conde, thank you for being our guest here on Boss Lead Podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a true, true honor. Okay. And I cannot leave without saying one more thing, one more,
Yes,
which,
Please, this is
absolutely.
your time.
which is one of the things that's non-negotiable in this life, as an expat. Every day isn't roses. Every day peaches and creams. There's ups and downs. But if you find a way to be grateful, you know,
Mm,
maintain your peace, have your routines, you really can thrive. And for me, one of the things that's also very important is do something beyond work. I will talk about it separately, ladies, but I started a nonprofit foundation called Waka Social. And I just wanted to share that as well because it's about empowering the next generation leaders in AI and digital skills. And it's something I'm very, very passionate about. And I
That.
would love one day to come back, yes, and talk more about that as well.
Absolutely. We already have a list of new questions for you. So yeah, we would love and maybe just make it all about that and the expat experience for you because obviously we know you've shared a lot about how your line of work led you to where you are, but living and being in
mm,
a country outside of the U.S. is a whole nother topic, and how you
Exactly.
navigate that as a black female, as a female,
mm.
period, would be, I think, really enlightening for our listeners. So we will already put that down as a follow-up episode.
Chapter 2.
Chapter
All
2. Sounds
right.
great. Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Thank you.
All right. Until
Thank
we
you
meet again.
again. Thank you so much.
Yes. And until we meet again, may you be well.
Likewise.
Angela, that was a fantastic conversation with Carlista Conde. I picked up so many pearls, and I'm obsessed with Paris. But tell me,
Same.
what did you take home from Carlista?
I think number 1 was just her passion.
Yes.
Her passion really rang through the entire episode. Her passion for STEM, her, from a young age, young girl, her passion for her university, FAMU, and the experience that gave her, her passion for her discipline, her career. And I think that's really what spoke to me because we find so many people that come on the show that are successful in terms of, how we determine success in their careers, and most of them are just really passionate about what they're doing. So I think that rings so true to how we move in our lives, but how I think we should encourage others is find your passion and that curiosity that she has around innovation for sure and how it affects all of the disciplines that she's been involved in, but also the curiosity for the cultures that she's been involved with, right?
Yes.
And how that translated into bringing about success in the different, campaigns that she had, whether it was in, Latin America or Asia. I found that fascinating. And we talked a little bit of it offline as well, but just her intention of being a global citizen and being
Yes.
appreciative of the other cultures. And I wish, the one thing that rang true for me that maybe audience didn't hear was the giving back to the communities that you live in, not just going and taking
Exactly.
so I loved all of that. And I think, we can certainly see how this is going to be a popular episode for the people that listen. How about you?
Without a doubt. Yes. When she talked about being bold and boldness, and
Yes.
that's the thing that kind of has propelled her career,
Mhm.
I was like, yes, absolutely. And then
Yes.
the other thing, when she shared with us that it took her 15 years to get her first expat assignment. Now,
That
she
part.
had other global appointments beforehand, but it is that reminder of the constant persistence that is necessary in order to kind of live your intentions. And
Yes.
from going from writing it on her review, her first
Yeah.
review, I want an
Yeah.
expat assignment, to
Yes.
actually living that I was like, "Oh yeah, this is it. This is it."
Yeah. Isn't that the truth? If you don't speak it, no one knows.
Mhm.
And so
Definitely.
dare to be bold. I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then, I love all things, Paris and the food and the fashion and, the
All of it.
beauty of just the city itself. Certainly there are beautiful places in the US. I'm a huge fan of New York, and I always gotta mention LA, but Paris, there is something really magical about the light in that city,
I
and,
agree.
I was happy that she was kind of sharing a little bit behind the scenes of her experience, in Paris.
I
So we wanna
agree.
invite everyone to listen, like, share, follow, and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube at Boss Leap Podcast. That's Boss, LEAP. And please, just enjoy the podcast.
Absolutely. And until we meet again, may you be well.
May you be well.
That's a wrap on another episode of Boss Leap. May this conversation enlighten your path toward personal growth and professional empowerment. For more thought-provoking and eye-opening discussions like this one, head to our website at bossleappodcast.com. Always remember to celebrate your wins and trust yourself. A positive mindset can push you out of your comfort zone and into far greater heights. Until next time, may you be well.
Before we go, there's one more thing the lawyers have asked us to include. It's the legal language, and you know how doctors love lawyers. This podcast is presented only for educational and entertainment purposes. Although we are doctors, on this show, we are just your friends. This podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of your physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals. Understood? Awesome. We'll see you in the next episode.